All right, let's move on to Argentina, where I sent this to our producers earlier, where you had a headline from Bloomberg, April 25th, 2024, Javier Milei fuels wild rally that makes peso #1 in world, with a headline recently from the Financial Times just in the last week. Argentina's peso plunges in warning light for Milei. We could put the first element up on the screen here. Question, Ryan, is what's closer to the truth? So Milei actually swapped a cabinet chief in what Reuters referred to as a major government shakeup. There's sort of a wild ride down in Argentina right now. He's been cavorting with Sam Altman and talking about the importance of artificial intelligence. And if you take Milei at his word, he will say, and any libertarian engaged in an experiment like this, a lab experiment like this, really trying to come back from Peronism, as he says, would say that you're going to have your ups and downs. Necessarily you're going to hit some obstacles just when you're doing things like trying to fix an economy that was stagnant, if not worse, for years and years and years. So what do you think is closer to the truth on this, Ryan? Is this an amazing recovery, or is this the peso plunging and Milei being thrust into chaos in his own cabinet?
I mean, Argentina is like a giant mess. It's fun. Maybe we can have fun at Milei's expense. It's through 300% inflation.
Yeah. And that's not his fault.
The country's political structures make it almost ungovernable. It's very hard for anybody to get elected in Argentina and then actually implement an agenda, because of the way that different power centers are able to stop anything from happening. And I think one reason Argentine voters elected him is because they thought, well, maybe this will shake. Like, they didn't necessarily think he was the answer, but it was like a Trump Flight 93 kind of thing, where it's like, well, maybe this will shake things up so much that something has to give. And so you can put up this first VO here. Basically now he's trying to slash university spending is what's going on. In 300% inflation, he's trying to hold university subsidies flat.
And he has slashed a lot of the government.
Yeah, he's already slashed
first 5 months here.
So that means you're facing what, 300% cut basically, because now it costs 3 times as much as it used to, and you're getting just the same kind of subsidy towards it as you were getting before. His argument is that this would bring inflation finally under control. Clearly the markets don't necessarily agree with that. The police are now joining in with the student protesters. The universities said that 800,000 people were in the streets protesting. Milei said it was 150,000 people.
That's still a lot of people.
Either way, right.
People.
And so, yeah, they're just kind of locked in the standoff we knew would be coming. We also know where this heads is towards violence. And so the question then becomes, do the police do the libertarians' bidding and crack down on these protests? Or do the police end up siding with the protesters? And then you're kind of back to square one of people being able to protect some of what the subsidies that they have, but not being able to then actually enact anything rational more broadly.
Well, and on the other side of this, the argument is going to be that his big reforms that you were just talking about are stalled. And that could potentially be affecting the market. I'm sure that is affecting the market, that his package that he wants to get through to address this nearly 300% inflation has been stalled. And maybe that's why his cabinet chief is being switched up, again, within the first 5 months here. So, I mean, I do genuinely think that it's hard to judge what happens under Milei by the first 5 months here, based on if you're comparing it to what his claimed vision is. it just, you don't really know unless the economic reform package, he can take all of the things that he can do by himself as an executive, and if he doesn't have them pass through Congress, if he doesn't have additional things passed through Congress, then you're just band-aiding things in an effort to bring down 300% inflation and potentially hurting people along the way. Now, if his economic reforms go through and you see an adaptation in the private sector, all of this is like really wishful thinking on behalf of libertarians, and you still have fairly sophisticated economists in disagreement about the effect of the Reagan tax cuts and versus defense spending and all of that. And we can get into those arguments about Liz Truss and all of that good stuff about whether true libertarianism has ever been tried. My particular opinion on that as a conservative is that these true libertarian experiments really never work in the real world, because you're not in a sort of perfect petri dish environment where there's a way to say, yeah, we'll just slash the government and things will be great. It'll bring inflation down. But it seems possible to me that a course correction could be in a good direction when all is said and done. But I don't know that that's what we're seeing actually play out. Although I would say that, from my perspective at least, it's too early to have a conclusion on what will happen.
You can put up the third element of this article from Reuters. Economic activity down 8.4% year over year in March. And if you dig into it, the biggest collapse was in construction, a 30% decline in economic activity. And so that's not inflation, that's 30% less construction getting going.
Although Milei retweeted someone who said everything within expectations about these numbers. He said everything within expectations after a strong initial devaluation. So again, this idea that we're on it's almost like a dialectical materialism, like Hegelian, like we're on, the plan is proceeding apace.
There you go. And it's manufacturing down 20%. Argentina's a mess. But he's a rock star, right? So
yeah, you gotta check this out.
The real reason we wanted to cover this is so that we could play this clip of President Milei up on stage.
There's incredible passion.
There you go.
Leaving it all on the field.
There you go. What more do you want?
Hey, if you liked that video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Breaking Points.
If you want to see the rest of Counterpoints, go to breakingpoints.com to become a premium member and get the full uncut show every morning in your inbox and on Spotify.